If you've been a longtime viewer to my channel, you know how I feel about Bethesda. You've heard me rant and rave for the better part of 2 or 3 years. That's why I took a little bit of a break from it. I just had too much rage inside. And the anger I felt towards Bethesda, I would say was justified. In the sense of my anger was kind of like that with an ex-girlfriend. You see her making huge mistakes. You really care about her. And even though you're trying to tell her what she's doing is wrong, i.e. hanging out with this asshole who's trying to buy drugs from these guys, and she ends up getting pistol whipped because she's stupid. I shouldn't be talking about my real life. Point being, you're trying to get her away from that. You're trying to set her back on the right path because you genuinely love this girl, but she is a fucking mess. And it is killing you to watch. That's how I feel about Bethesda. I've watched one of my favorite gaming franchises turn into some sort of weird bastardization of itself that's nothing more than a cash grab that the entire gaming industry is on. Live services. The gaming industry loves live services more than your mother loves her little helper. Wink, wink, i.e. pain medication that she keeps fudging the papers on so doctors keep giving her her opiates because mama loves getting toe up. Point being, Bethesda sucks, and they did it to themselves. And one can only hope that it will change, but it probably never will. Bethesda is Bethesda. And at this point, they have a god complex. They'll do whatever, and the consumer, mindless maw group of people will eat it up. They'll get hyped and move on from one product to the next and defend it to the hills because God only knows why, huh? Corporate slaves. There seems to be a bit of a tussle going on, an issue. Well, it was resolved quite quickly, but still, it left people scratching their heads. NafNaf95 on Twitter made me aware of Bethesda's new mod, or update for Fallout 76, some garbage. It's called Fight the Good Fight in the Capital Wasteland. Travel to the GNR Plaza in DC to stop the incursion of Commonwealth mercenaries, attracted by the unfortunate call for aid. This is one of our biggest Fallout 4 adventures yet, and includes over 8 new armors inspired by Fallout 3. Now you might sit there and go, sounds cool. Yum yum, Simon. Nobody's saying that. Nobody who actually plays Fallout is sitting there with a rock hard boner for this. Maybe console gamers that are stuck to the proprietary system that limits your fun and usability and then makes you pay for online might give you a little bit of hard nipples for this, but frankly, for the rest of us, it's a big sort of wet fart in the wind. Why is that, you might ask? That's because NafNaf95 is one of the head guys working on Capital Wasteland. Now, if you don't know what Capital Wasteland is a Fallout 3 remake in the Fallout 4 engine. We've also got... Sorry, I just saw like a tweet from the Logan Paul brothers. I was looking for some other information and I just... Goddamn you, Bagel Boss. Putting this shit in my damn timeline. You just earned yourself an unfollow. It is so dumb. My mind was erased. If I were a CIA operative, that's how I'd torture terrorists. I'd force them to look at Logan Paul brother tweets and podcasts. Where are their nuclear weapons? I will tell you nothing. We'll see how strong you are, Muhammad, after we watch some Logan Paul videos.
I never lose.
This whole fucking generation is so unbelievably sad. If you're just getting to like partying age, you're fucked. There's nothing going on in this country anymore. It's done. Last call. It's just a suck generation. It's the most boring fucking generation in the history of people.
Let's get back to it. The Capital Wasteland remake was pretty much the hot buzz thing. Everybody was stoked about it. Everyone was happy. Then something horrible happened. On March 13th of 2018, the Capital Wasteland mod that everyone was so excited for, after the trailer for the pre-alpha gameplay in the metro tunnels had dropped and everyone was kind of like, hey, this seems promising, it was killed. Road to Liberty tweeted, with a heavy heart, I must announce that at this moment, the Capital Wasteland project is no longer in development. There are more details in our Discord, but I wanted to let everyone who's been so gracious to follow and support us know. Recently, we have communicated with Bethesda regarding our planned method to implement the voice acting and other audio from Fallout 3 into the capital wasteland. During this conversation, it became clear our planned approach would raise some serious red flags. So, basically, I'm going to paraphrase because nobody wants to hear me read poorly for the next few minutes. The project had to be pulled because they couldn't use the voice acting of the game. There's a whole lot of red tape there, which sucks, really, because, frankly, everybody loved Three Dog. He was iconic. So that really put a hole in the sails. In fact, the project was so killed off, most of the team that was developing it disbanded. It was a big hit, which led a lot of people to worry about Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4, which was still on track, thankfully. The legal workaround that they came up with was to use new voice lines entirely for the capital wasteland, and this breathed new life back into the project. On January 3rd of 2019, the Capital Wasteland and the Fallout 3 remake was resumed in development. This was because the development team was now going to record over 45,000 voice lines of dialogue to make this possible. Currently, the project is a skeleton crew, or at the time that I talked to NAF, which was months ago it was. There could be more people involved. If you work with mods and you want to get into helping make this a reality, hit up NAF. Point being, it was back on track. It was all good news, sunshine and rainbows. Everybody was excited yet again. Me too. I tried to get the role of Three Dog, but I don't think it worked out. Nobody needs me being Three Dog. I ain't got it down. But I did say I was willing to help. And this was good news because it's actually something I wanted to play. Because Fallout 3, it is the worst of all the Bethesda games to mod. This brings us to present day, with the whole Bethesda doing a mod for Fallout 4 that is in Fallout 3 setting. It just seems a little too coincidental. And as I said before many times, I, much like God, do not roll the dice nor believe in coincidences, especially when it comes to Bethesda. Let's face it, Fallout 4's base building and stuff, those were mods. A lot of the songs in Fallout 4, at one time, there was a mod that had all these great tunes, but now it's gone, legal issues. It's nothing new. I mean, do you remember when Far Harbor came out and Bethesda had this whole detective quest mod that was shockingly similar to one that could be found on Nexus mods that was made for New Vegas? Sure, whatever, let's pretend it was just a coincidence. Or even when NAF's team worked on a couple mods outside of the Creation Club. Now, if you remember, because I've talked about it, I don't know, a year or two ago, there's the Hellfire X03 power armor on the Nexus. It was bomb ass, let's face it. That power armor is legit. From top to bottom, the thing is hot. Honest to God, if you look at this power armor alone, could you imagine Fallout 3 done by this group of modders who actually care about the intellectual property? Look at it. It's one of the best mods on the Nexus. When this dropped, Bethesda also put out their crummy ass mods. Their version of the power armor looked like ass in comparison. And guess what? You could pay for it.
No.
There you go. You had to not. Oh, you got this lamer version of the armor. And you also got the joy of paying Bethesda. They also did the Chinese stealth armor around the same time that Bethesda just happened to do the Chinese stealth armor for Fallout 4. Once again, Bethesda's version paled in comparison to what NAF's team was doing. And here's the bonus, children. You could pay for it. That's the big piece. Funny thing about all of this is some people come out and go, like this person said on a Polygon article back in 2017 when this news dropped. And that's right. Right there. The point. This isn't about PC players who Bethesda clearly know already have better options. It's about console players who don't. Yes. Not only do you not have the better option on console, but you get to pay for it. Can you imagine that? Imagine going outside, finding out that there's a place like a bistro that serves an amazing chicken sandwich with a side of soup. And it's free, but you can't go there. So you're going to go to this place next to you because it's easier. And you're going to pay them for a sandwich that pales in comparison with a side of soup that's got some broken glass in it. Now, granted, the team working on the Capital Wasteland does have connections with Bethesda, but there are still some differences of ideology when it comes to the Creation Club and so on. And frankly, I find it a little odd that Bethesda would launch this. You know, it doesn't seem odd. It's like, oh, we're going to do Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Like, really, Bethesda? Like, you guys just really decided to do that when we all know that usually Bethesda doesn't have any ideas. It's a lazy move. It's lazy content. It is typical Bethesda. I'd say this is a move to cash in quickly before the Fallout mod hits. Because once that happens, no one's going to be bothering with this one on the Creation Club without a shadow of a doubt. And as I stated before, there's instances where it seems like there's a lot of coincidences where Bethesda just happens to do something that used to be a mod or that is a mod. And the correlation between the timing is a bit staggering. I mean, frankly, if Bethesda really cared, Fallout 76 would have been something totally different. Fallout 4 would have actually been a Fallout game. And instead of us getting Fallout 76, we might have gotten Fallout 3 Remastered. A lot of people wanted it, including me. And even I was drinking the Kool-Aid thinking Fallout 3 Remastered was going to happen. And instead, we got 76. And now the big payoff is, it's been a successful year of the Creation Club. Now you can pay for this mod that's probably going to really suck. And now you can celebrate the 2nd anniversary of the Creation Club because it's so scary great, right? It will include some content inspired by Fallout 3 because we know fans want it because they're working on it. It reminds me of when Capcom finally did Resident Evil 2. Remember how everybody was begging Capcom for years to remake Resident Evil 2? Years! We're talking a long time. Probably over 10. Everyone's like, please, Capcom, remake Resident Evil 2. And Capcom's like, no Resident Evil 2 for you. Buy Street Fighter 5 costume DLC. And you're like, no. Then fans remake Resident Evil 2 in the Unreal Engine, and it looks staggering. Capcom sends a cease and desist. Some other fans remake Resident Evil 2 to be like Resident Evil 4. Cease and desist, put that away. Then what happens? A few years later, they remake Resident Evil 2. They did a good job on it, I'm not gonna lie. And then cash in on it. Like, oh, we've always known this is what the people wanted. These motherfuckers, they're sitting there like, oh, I see they really, really want this. People are getting hyped for this game, huh? Well, copyright it. Stop those fans from making people happy. They can get happy after they've paid us for it. Funaki, get in here. Send the cease and desist. And then put on my favorite Korean Twitch channel. That didn't even sound remotely Japanese. But if I speak in like an English accent, people will get mad at me.